Coming to you from lovely downtown Santa Rosa, it's the Backstage Sonoma radio show. And now, here's your host, Steve Roby.
Hello and welcome to the Backstage Sonoma show here on Cows FM. My first guests today are guitarist Steve Dunne and vocalist Dana Moret, who are part of the legendary Bay Area band Cold Blood. We'll discuss their upcoming show in Santa Rosa on July 5th and their music. Welcome to Backstage Sonoma.
Thank you. Hi.
Good to be here.
Why don't we start out with a bit of history for this horn-heavy funk band called Cold Blood?
The band started in 1968. It was founded in the San Francisco area by Larry Field. And Lydia Pence, the legendary vocalist, joined the band in 1969 when Bill Graham actually took a liking to their sound and decided to sign them as one of the first artists to his record label, which was San Francisco Records in 1969. And that was along also with Alvin Bishop, who was the other artist to be signed to that. And Lydia's voice was just so iconic at the time, where she blended the soul and R&B with funk in this horn-heavy sound. So it really made an impact at that time.
Back at the very beginning of Cold Blood, they were in the East Bay, and there was a club, I believe in Hayward, called Frenchie's. Everybody talks about Frenchie's, where both Cold Blood and Tower of Power used to play regularly before they got famous. That's ground zero, is Frenchie's in Hayward.
Okay, yeah, that does bring up some memories. Who would you say are some of the band's musical influences? Growing up in the Bay Area, of course, there was Tower of Power, but were there some early influences that the band had to start the inspiration to get the band going?
Absolutely. Being on tour with Lydia, I get some of these private conversations of her early times. And one of the things that she really talks about, one of her biggest influences when she first started singing, believe it or not, was Brenda Lee. After knowing that about her and hearing her sound over the years, there are parts of her that are so melodic and reverent to that sound. So it's kind of cool to see how she mixed that with that funk and rock sound, because later on, she talks about how much she admired James Brown in stage presence, in rhythm, in action, and you can see a lot of that in her influences in her earlier years when she's playing the Fillmore and Winterland.
She was a huge James Brown fan. She even caught a couple of his cufflinks when he threw them from the stage. But another influence is when Lydia was still in high school, Sly Stone, back when he was still Sylvester Stewart, used to give Lydia bus money, and she'd ride up to Marin and stay at Sly Stone's mom's house with him, and he'd take her out to play clubs. So she had an early history with him long before either one of them became famous. So there's an influence there too.
Can you talk about the group's evolution and its former and current members?
A lot of people have come through the band to the point where the band now, other than Lydia, is all different people. But that didn't happen at once. It's not like an old band went out and a new band came in. Mm-hmm. It evolved person by person. But the version of the band that's the best known is the one with Sandy McKee on drums, who many drummers revere as a huge influence to them. He was a very unique drummer. Michael Sasaki on guitar, the Jonas Brothers on horns. Also, Skip Mesquite from Tower of Power on tenor saxophone, Mick Gillette on trumpet, who was Tower of Power guys. Right. I think really for the original Cold Blood, the driving creative power was Raoul Matute, the keyboard player. And he and Lydia collaborated. I think Lydia probably on lyrics, but he's the guy who wrote all those horn arrangements. And really, whether they were Cold Blood originals or taken like the song I Just Want to Make Love to You, which is an old blues song. He's the one who did those great arrangements, all that horn stuff, the syncopated rhythms. So that was the original band. And one at a time, people would move on to other things, or, lost a few of those people. Sure. Sandy McKee, the drummer, passed away. Raoul Matute, the keyboard player, went into corporate world and got a real job. So it changed over person by person. When I joined the band was in 1992. And at that point, they had Donnie Baldwin on drums, who a lot of people know from the Jefferson Starship and from Elton Bishop's band. Bobby Vega on bass, who's a super well-known Bay Area bass player. Tom Poole, another trumpet player, a very big presence on the Bay Area music scene. And I've been in the band since then, but one at a time. Again, I've seen people, somebody goes, and so somebody else comes in, to the point that we now have the group of people we've had, which has been pretty stable for the last several years.
How many people are in the band now?
9. We can basically say that they're all veterans of the Bay Area scene, from Elvin Bishop,
Sure.
Eddie Money, the Starship.
Cold Blood doesn't always strictly play in the Bay Area, right? You guys done some international tours as well, right?
We've been to Japan, to Tokyo. There's a place in Tokyo called the Cotton Club, which specializes in American music. And so we've been there a couple of times. In 2018, Lydia and I went to New Zealand, and there's a band there, the Roger Fox Big Band. And Roger Fox, unfortunately, just passed away last month, a great musician, but he's got this big band there where they bring in artists, big name artists. So we did a 2-week tour of New Zealand, and he brought Lydia and me to play with his 18-piece big band, and also Robin Ford at the same time. So we went around and did this. I think we did 12 shows in 2 weeks around New Zealand,
Jeez.
which was very cool.
Wow.
Also very cool getting to play with Robin Ford as a guitar player.
Yeah. What's the reception like in those other countries?
Great. Playing in Japan is like, they treat you like rock stars. When in America, we're just some marginally successful musicians. But over there, I mean, people waiting for you at the front of the hotel with little gifts. And it's amazing. You could stay there too long, your ego could blown up. But also in New Zealand, New Zealand has an amazing music scene. We're so far away, you wouldn't know it, but there's all these great musicians there, and there's a huge jazz scene there, and it was actually very cool.
How nice. You sent over some music to share with our listeners, and the first track we're going to play is a new one, which I'm really excited about. The song is called Blood, and it's from your current album, Cold Blue Hearts. Tell me about the making of the album and this track.
The album, Cold Blue Heart, we had made a decision to make an album. The thought was to make an album that leaned a little more towards blues, but it wasn't going to be a blues album. It wasn't going to be like a Chicago blues album. That was the general idea, but this particular song is not a blues song. This song came about from a combination of different things. It started off with our former trumpet player, who passed away a couple of years ago, brilliant musician, Rich Armstrong, had this idea for the lyrics of the song, which was talking about blood, cold blood, got the groove. It's just kind of a little dance song chorus thing. He passed away, but that idea didn't leave my head. And then when we were in the studio recording, I was with the drummer and the bass player recording rhythm tracks for some other songs. I just had this groove idea. We finished the other 2 songs, and I said, hey, can you guys just try this thing? And I wrote a little chart out in pencil, and we played it, and it worked, so we kept it. And then I took Rich's idea of the lyrics for the song that he had envisioned, and then we went in and took a little vocal section from an old Cold Blood song that was on their album Lydia Penson Cold Blood from 1976. And that song was called Cold Blood Smokin'. So we took those words, stole it from that. Our trumpet player wrote a horn line. So we took my groove, the trumpet player's horn line, our deceased trumpet player's lyrics, and some old Cold Blood vocals, and mashed them together and came up with Blood.
Well, let's listen to it now. This is Blood by Cold Blood here on Cows FM. back with Stephen Dunne and Dana Moret of the band Cold Blood. The next song we're going to play is called Can't Keep a Good Woman Down. Who wants to tell me about this one?
A couple of years ago, during COVID, we had a little scare with Lydia. She had a little health problem. And one thing about this girl is she is resilient. She's such a fighter. And the community banded together, sent all their well wishes, and she worked really hard and was able to get out of that. And it inspired this song, Can't Keep a Good Woman Down. Steve, you want to talk about getting that one in the studio?
One of the Cold Blood songs that everyone always wants to hear is Lydia sing, I'm a Good Woman. So that made me think, well, the good woman kind of had a rough patch there, but she's back. So I thought, well, can't keep a good woman down. With the idea that we wanted to be a little more bluesy, I wanted to write something that got away from the syncopated funk grooves that we're kind of known for. And I was kind of thinking Bonnie Raitt a little bit, just coming up with a nice mid-tempo bluesy groove that still had the feel of funk, but wasn't so blatantly a funk song. So that's how we came up with that.
Let's listen to it now. Here's Cold Blood again on Cows FM.
You think you got me on the run, but I'm telling you that this ain't done. Now, baby, you had your fun. You're not the only one who can fire a shot. I take a stand, blow it up. You'll never be my man. Oh, you can't keep a good woman down. Oh no, you ain't gonna push me around. Take me down. you said it right. Oh, can't keep, won't keep. I know, can't keep. Now you said my hand. Can't keep, no, you won't keep it. You can't keep it, no.
And my guests today are Stephen Dunne and Dana Moret of the band Cold Blood. We're going to be talking about your upcoming show at Fridays at the Hood pretty soon here as we wrap up this interview. But a couple of things I want to know. What's next for Cold Blood? Are there any new projects or tours you guys are working on?
With the newfound appreciation and love on the up and coming scene for this type of music, Cold Blood's just going to keep doing what we've been doing. The repertoire of music that goes back 55 years is timeless. And it seems to be every new crowd that we play in front of. It's really cool to see the people who remember it being from Northern California and then seeing a younger audience have absolutely no problem falling into the sound and really appreciating the music.
The way things cyclically come around, there's a lot of younger bands now that are doing the groove music with the horn section, and I feel like we're back in fashion. So we are trying to reach out to a younger audience. Next on our to-do list is to take some of these songs off this album and make videos out of them, you know, to get them on, in furtherance of that, finding a younger audience, you know, get them on YouTube and TikTok and that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So that's our next real project, is make some videos and then keep playing. Probably spring, we'll probably do a little tour spring of 2025 where we'll head up to Seattle. We have a place, Jazz Alley in Seattle, where we always play, and we're in the works of putting that together and getting down to Southern California and keep putting one foot in front of the other and do what we do.
Absolutely. And thank you, too, from the bottom of my heart for keeping this band's legacy alive. As a Bay Area native, this is a really important band.
And thank you for what you do. Thank you for keeping original artists relevant and on the scene. It's people like you that really help keep the machine moving.
My pleasure. What can fans look forward to at the upcoming Fridays at the Hood show?
We always play a lot of the classic stuff that everybody wants to hear. So you're going to hear I'm a Good Woman. You're going to hear I Just Want to Make Love to You. You Got Me Humming, Down to the Bone, all the classic stuff. But you're going to hear some of the songs from our most recent album. And we've got another album that we put out in 2015 called Soul of the Gypsy. So there'll probably be one or two songs from Soul of the Gypsy. We're not going to play the whole album of our new stuff, but we'll do a couple of songs off the new album. It'll be 80% classic Cold Blood stuff, 20% new stuff, because I know that when people go hear a band that they've known for years, they want to hear their favorite songs. You don't want to go hear the Doobie Brothers and they don't play Long Train Running, you know.
Yes. And it would probably be a good suggestion, too, to bring your dancing shoes, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Where can I send our listeners to find your music and show schedules on the web?
You can head over to lydiapence.com. In fact, we've got tickets to the show, Fridays in the Hood. That's July 5th, and there's a link to the tickets right there on the page.
Just a reminder, Cold Blood will perform on Friday, July 5th at Fridays, of course. Fridays at the Hood in Santa Rosa. Doors open at 6 p.m. and showtime is 7 p.m. The address is 389 Casa Mañana Way in Santa Rosa, and you can find tickets and more info at fridaysatthehood.com. Thanks for stopping by the show today, and have a great show there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Would you like to be a guest on Backstage Sonoma? Drop the host an email at backstagesonoma@gmail.com.
Now we're ready to get back to what we know, and that's cows.